Hello everyone. A very good afternoon to all of you guys. Welcome to this class on the Companies Act previous year questions. So we'll be discussing about the previous year questions from the Companies Act 2013, right? So these are the previous year question related to your 2022 to 2024 examination that came in the SEBI general examination, okay? SEBI general examination. So let's quickly start the discussion, and at the same time I will like to highly encourage you guys to drop your thoughts in the comment section if you know the correct choice. The very first question for today is, within how many days should the money be transferred to the special account, which is the unpaid dividend account, after the expiry of 30 days from the date of declaration of the dividend as per the Companies Act 2013. Now this is one of the most repeated question in different examination, right? Company law se this is one of the most repeated question. Within how many days the money should be transferred into a special account after the expiry of the 30 days. So आपने dividend declare किया, वहां से 30 days खत्म हो गए. Now within how many days you need to transfer this account to the unpaid dividend account? So the correct answer is 7 days. This is one of the most repeated question in the competitive examination, right? Next one. Within how many days can a person file an appeal against the order of NCLT? So you can go and appeal in the National Company Law Tribunal, and if you are not satisfied with the decision of the NCLT, you can even go to the NCLAT. But within how many days? Within how many days you can appeal? Any idea, guys? Any idea, anyone? So you can appeal in 45 days to NCLAT, okay? In 45 days you can appeal to the NCLAT. That's the correct answer, and you can see that so many questions are directly coming from dates, right? From the number of days. Next one. Under section 54 of the Companies Act, what is the lock-in period for the sweat equity shares? What is the lock-in period prescribed under the Companies Act 2013 for the sweat equity shares as per section 54? Any idea, guys? Anyone? That's 3 years. That's 3 years, option C. Okay, this also came in 2024 examination. So you can see that the number related things are very important for your examination. They are multiple times asking you questions related to days, related to years, right? So it should be in a very super strong zone. Next one. Under section 186 subsection 4 of the Companies Act, which of the following is not covered? The company must disclose in the financial statements the full particulars of the loan given. Option B. The company must disclose in the financial statement the full particulars of the investment made. Option C. Company must disclose in the financial statement full particulars of the guarantees or securities provided, or must disclose the purpose for which the loan, guarantee or security is proposed to be utilized by the recipient. Co-option of directors. Which of the following is not covered under 186 subsection 4? So we can see that the option E, co-option of director, is not at all covered under this particular section, right? So this is the odd one out type wala question. Rest of the things are covered. Option E is not covered under section 186 subsection 4. Next one. An auditor appointed by a company, it doesn't matter whether it's a government company or non-government company, can be removed before the completion of the term. Let's suppose this is the term of the auditor. This is the term of the auditor. Now, this is the end date of the term. Now, if we want to remove the auditor, say for example here, then what is the procedure? Only through a special resolution. I need a special resolution, and that too after obtaining the prior approval of whom? BOD, Board of Directors, shareholders, central government, state government, or registrar of companies. What do you think, guys? What do you think will be the correct choice here? Look, shareholders हो नहीं सकता, क्योंकि obviously special resolution तो वैसे भी they are passing a special resolution, so shareholder cannot be there. They are already giving the accent in the special resolution. State government possibility है नहीं. BOD possibility नहीं है क्योंकि already shareholders have passed the special resolution. So 3 option तो आपके वैसे ही eliminate हो गए. बचा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ कंपनीज. नाउ व्हाटएवर वी आर डूइंग इन अ कंपनी, we always give intimation to the registrar. ये भी cancel हो गया, वो तो हर चीज में देना पड़ता है intimation, right, to the registrar of the companies. बचा central government, and we need the approval of central government if we want to remove the auditor before the tenure. It doesn't matter whether it is a government company or a non-government company, you need to take the approval of central government here, right? I hope it is clear. So elimination से भी हम काफी सारे क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. As per the Companies Act, a board meeting must be called by giving notice to the directors at their registered address at a minimum of how many days before the meeting? Before the meeting, how many days का prior notice should be given here? It should be 7 clear days. Option B, very good. 7 days. Okay, 7 days. What is the maximum age for a chairperson of the NCLAT? I am talking about the appellate tribunal and not the NCLT as per the guidelines. So the maximum age of the chairperson can be 70 years. Okay, 70 years can be the maximum age of the chairperson of the NCLAT. A listed company may appoint one director as a shareholder director. One director as a shareholder director. What kind of shareholder director this can be? Executive, majority shareholder director, small shareholder director, non-executive shareholder director, or independent shareholder director. Any idea, guys, about this one? This is also a very simple one and one of the most repeated question. Yes, that's small shareholder director, right? That is small shareholder director. A company is generally not allowed to issue shares at a discount. So let's suppose my face value is 10 rupee. I can issue it for more than 10 rupees, say for example 12 rupee, but I cannot issue it for 8 rupee. Why? Because a company is prohibited to issue the shares at a discount, right? Discount पे share issue नहीं कर सकते. But there are certain exceptions. Which of the following is one such exception here? Option number A. When shares are issued to employees under the employee stock option plan. Option number B. When shares are issued at a discount with approval of shareholders in the annual general meeting. Option C. When shares are issued at a discount to creditors in exchange of the debt conversion. Now I am not paying my creditors, rather I am giving my shares to them in full and final settlement. As per the Reserve Bank of India or Banking Regulation Act guidelines during the debt restructuring process. Option D. When shares are issued at a discount following a special resolution in a court ordered meeting. Option E. When shares are issued at a discount during initial public offer to attract the investors. And the correct answer here is option C. Option C. This is one of the exception. There is a prohibition that you cannot issue your shares at a discount, but there is an exception, and option C is the exception. Option C is the exception, right? Which of the following individual is not eligible to be appointed as an independent director? Option A, managing director. Option B, whole-time director. C, nominee director. D, all of the above. E, none of the above. Who is not eligible to become an independent director? Very good. All of the above is the correct choice here. If you are a managing director, whole-time director, nominee director, that means you are obviously directly participating in day-to-day affairs of the company. That's why you cannot be an independent director, right? The National Company Law Tribunal has been constituted by which of the following authorities? Is it state government, High Court, Supreme Court, central government, or Ministry of Corporate Affairs? It is the central government which has constituted the National Company Law Tribunal, right? It is national, it's not state specific, right? So it's the central government who has constituted the NCLT. Next one, which of the following methods cannot be used by a public company to issue the shares? Option A, right issue. Option B, bonus issue. Employee stock option, tender issue, or all of the above. Or all of the above. Here the correct choice is, guys, tender issue. There is no such methodology which is used by the public company as of now to issue the share. They can go for right issue, bonus issue, even the ESOPs. But tender issue as of now is no such legitimate option which companies are using. As per the Companies Act 2013, what is the maximum duration allowed for preference shares? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years or 30 years. That's the period of 20 years, and there is one exception also. There's one exception also, right? And that's your homework for today. You guys need to later on drop me in the comment section what is the exception of this 20 years. You can even issue preference shares for more than 20 years, but only in one case. Okay? Up to 30 year also you can issue, but there is only one exception later on. Do let me know in the comment section after the class which is the exception. Every company must inform the registrar of the companies within how many days of receiving the DIN number. You received the DIN number, now you need to inform to the registrar of the companies within how many days? Within how many days? Within 15 days you need to inform to the registrar of the companies from receiving the DIN number. What is the prescribed age limit for the directors under the Companies Act 2013? Now these kind of questions related to age limit, related to days, related to the tenure are very, very important for your examination. So I highly advise you guys to start making charts from right now, right? Related to the age, related to the dates, related to the days and period of appointment. Here the correct choice is 21 year to 70 year is the correct timeline, right? I have given you a snapshot as well here which you can refer later on related to the provision. Okay, so 21 to 70 year is the correct choice, option B. Next one. If a company or director wishes to create a mechanism to handle issues involving 1000 or more stakeholders, what is this mechanism known as? Options are in front of you. Let me know in the comment section what is the correct answer here. What kind of committee we call it, or what kind of panel we call it. It is none other than your stakeholders committee, right? If you want to involve 1000 or more stakeholders, then we will be constituting a stakeholders committee for the benefit of all the stakeholders. Next one. Under section 125 of the Companies Act, which fund has been established? Option A, CSR fund. Option B, National Company Law Tribunal fund. Option C, Investor Education and Protection fund. Option D, Employee Provident Fund or Environmental Protection Fund. Now this is one of the most simple question I can say. This is one of the most simple question. Perfect. That's none other than your Investor Education and Protection Fund. Option C, Investor Education and Protection Fund. An appeal to the Supreme Court. Now let's suppose NCLT के पास गया मैं, वहाँ पे मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया डिसीजन, तो मैं NCLAT के पास चला गया. वहाँ पे भी if I am not able to, I am not satisfied with the decision that NCLAT has taken, I can even go to the Supreme Court. Within how many days I can appeal to the Supreme Court? If I am not satisfied with the decision of the NCLAT, then within how many days I can go to the Supreme Court? The correct answer here is 60 days. I can go to the Supreme Court within 60 days. Okay. Next one. The transfer of securities related to equity, debt or any other instrument must be completed within how many days of the execution by the company? Within 60 days again. Within 60 days you need to transfer the security. It doesn't matter whether it is related to equity, debt or any other instrument. In special circumstances, the auditor of the company can be removed by the order of which authority? Option A, tribunal. Option B, central government. Option C, district court. Option D, shareholders, or none of the above. It's none other than your tribunal. In the special circumstances, the auditor can be removed by the tribunal. The tribunal is having the exclusive authority, right? A firm can be appointed as an auditor of a company if dash of its partner practicing in India are qualified for such appointment. Now this particular question came multiple times in different examinations. Not just SEBI, but in multiple examination I have seen this particular question. All of the partners, majority of the partners, any one of the partner, half of the partner, or none of the above. What do you think, guys? Any opinion on this one? Where majority of the partners are qualified for such appointment is the correct choice. Very good. Option B. Next one. The dividend declared by the company must be transferred to a separate account. Let's suppose I have declared the dividend here. Now I need to obviously transfer the amount within how many days to a separate bank account. This is the date of declaration. Now within how many days I need to transfer it to a separate account. This is also one of the most repeated questions in your competitive examinations, and the correct choice is 5 days. So I have declared the dividend. Now within 5 days I need to transfer this dividend to a separate bank account. Right? As per section 71 of the Companies Act, if a company plans to issue debentures to more than 500 members, it must appoint which of the following before issuing a prospectus or making an offer to the public? They need to appoint a debenture trustee. If a company plans to issue debentures to more than 500 members, it needs to appoint a debenture trustee here before issuing the prospectus. Now this debenture trustee will take care of the interest of the debenture holders. Next one. Which of the following services can be lawfully provided by the auditor? Now this is very important. This is an indirect question from the services not to be rendered by auditor, and that's a very important section of company law. You need to remember the whole list कि मैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ auditing services दे सकता हूँ. I cannot offer management services. I cannot offer internal auditing services. If I am the statutory auditor, I cannot be internal auditor, right? Accounting service I cannot give it. अरे मैं तो audit कर रहा हूँ. If I start doing the accounting, whether I'll highlight my own mistakes कि मैंने accounting करते करते गलत कर दिया था, नहीं, right? तो conflict of interest आ जाता है. That's why only auditing service you can render, right? A company cannot provide a loan, guarantee or security exceeding which limit of its paid up capital, free reserves and securities premium account. Here are the options. You cannot give loans, guarantee, security exceeding a limit. What is the limit? Which is tied to the paid up capital and free reserves, including the securities premium. What is that limit, guys? Option B, 60% of paid up capital. 60% of paid up capital, free reserves and securities premium, or 100% of free reserves and securities premium. This is the limit, whichever is higher. Okay. So guys, limits, days, years, number of person and tenure, these things you can't avoid, right? Because majority of the questions are coming from these 5 areas from your company law part. Okay. Public offer of securities must be compulsorily be made in which form? Physical, demat, paper, certificate, electronic. Now this is one of the most simplest question I can say. Obviously the answer is demat form. जो लोग नहीं पढ़ के गए होंगे वो भी इस वाले क्वेश्चन को सही करके आए होंगे, राइट, डीमैट फॉर्म. An alternate director. Now this is important. An alternate director can be appointed to act in place of a director during the absence from India for not less than how long? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months or 12 months. Let's suppose I'm going out of India. Now the company can appoint an alternate director who will be taking my place. But I need to go outside India for how many months at least? अब ये वाला क्वेश्चन तो आपका 2024 में आ गया है. अब और क्या क्वेश्चन आ सकता है तो मैं आपको वो भी बताऊंगा. देखो सबसे पहले तो द आंसर इज 3 months. हियर द आंसर इज 3 months. व्हाट एल्स यू नीड टू नो इज, लेट्स सपोज मेरी जगह कोई डायरेक्टर अपॉइंट किया, दे हैव अपॉइंटेड अनदर डायरेक्टर इन प्लेस बिकॉज ऑफ माई एब्सेंस. आई एम आउट ऑफ इंडिया फॉर मोर देन 3 months, so they have appointed a alternate director. What if I return to India right now after 1 month? What will happen to that director? वो automatically retire हो जाएगा. That's you need to know. That is the concept that you need to know. वो automatically he will be retired and I will be in charge of my office again, right? So this is the thing that can come in your examination in 2025, SEBI. The tribunal may amend any order passed by it to rectify an apparent mistake within how many years from the date of such order? Important. The tribunal, let's suppose the tribunal has made an order. Now the tribunal came to know that okay, some mistake is there in this particular order. Now within how many years from the date of such order the tribunal can rectify the same? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 6 months, 5 years? Within 2 years, right? So these were the questions that came in your examination in 2024, right? Now let's discuss about the previous year of 2022. The National Company Law Tribunal is a quasi-judicial body in India that handles corporate matters. The president of the NCLT must have served as the High Court judge for how many years? And this particular chapter is very, very important because there are so many numbers in it, days and tenure related. Five years, right? 5 years. The president of NCLT must be a High Court judge for at least 5 years if you want to become a president of NCLT here. A government company or a company that has existed for less than how many years is not allowed to make a political contribution. Say for example, this is a company, they want to make a political contribution donation. Political contribution. Now for how many years this company should be in existence to do so? Because not all the companies are permitted. Let's suppose I started my company yesterday only. I cannot give political contributions. There is a minimum tenure for which I need to exist before making any political contribution. 3 years is the correct choice. I need to exist for at least 3 years as a corporate entity to give the political contributions. Okay? Otherwise ऐसा लगेगा कंपनी बनाई इसलिए थी, कल फ्रेम करी, 1 साल पहले फ्रेम करी और now I have started giving the political contributions, right? Next one. A company cannot modify the terms of the contract mentioned in the prospectus except through a dash meeting and a dash resolution. Through a general meeting and a special resolution. If you want to modify any terms related to prospectus, you need to do it in the general meeting, and that too special resolution is required. Special resolution is very much required. Next one. If a company fails to pay the declared dividend within 30 days of the declaration, let's suppose I have declared the dividend here. Now within 30 days, I failed to pay my declared dividend. What kind of punishment can be imposed here? In these cases, what kind of punishment can be imposed here? Any idea about this one, guys? There will be imprisonment up to 2 years and fine not less than 1000 rupees during the default. Okay, option E here is the correct choice. Imprisonment up to 2 years and fine of 1000 rupee per day. So what kind of questions I can say are very, very important for your examination? Number 1, tenure related, fine related, number of days related, right? If you are able to do these 3 types of questions, I can say age related also, appointment related. If you are able to do these 5 kind of questions from your company law, I can say majority of the questions are coming from your 5 areas, right? There must be at least one independent director who has been a resident of India for at least how many days? 180, 182, 178, 300 or 120. So for 182 days, you need to have at least one independent director who stayed in India for at least a minimum of 182 days. Now this particular limit of 182 days is coming from the residential status wala chapter in taxation. Okay. So from that chapter, they have adopted this limit of 182 days from the Income Tax Act. A poll. In a poll, equity shareholders, voting rights are proportional to what? Paid up capital, subscribed capital, authorized capital, called up capital, issued capital. Say for example, 1 lakh rupee was the issued capital. Now out of the issued capital, the subscribed capital was only 80,000. Out of the subscribed capital, I can say the called up capital was just 60,000. And rest was uncalled. Now out of this called up capital, only 40,000 was the paid up capital. Can you guys tell me how much voting rights I'll be having? How much voting rights I'll be having? One of the most important question. Now it doesn't matter what is the authorized capital. It doesn't matter what is the subscribed, called up, issued capital. What matters is how much I have paid. How much I have paid. In accordance with that only, my voting rights will be decided. Right? So paid up capital. जितना मैंने पे किया उतना मेरा voting rights होगा. उससे ऊपर मुझे voting rights नहीं मिलेंगे. Okay? Option A, paid up capital. Under section 139 of the Companies Act, an auditor shall hold office from the conclusion of the first AGM till the conclusion of what AGM? Again, a tenure related question. Let's suppose I have appointed an auditor under section 139 at the first AGM. So obviously at the first AGM, if I am appointing an auditor, this is a subsequent auditor. पहला ऑडिटर तो होगा नहीं, पहला ऑडिटर तो तब अपॉइंट होगा ना जब मेरा कंपनी चालू होगा. Bhaskar, majority, I can say most of the classes are in English only. Okay, so no worries about that. We take most of the classes in English only. Okay. And definitely sometimes we use Hindi also, but I can say almost all the concepts are covered in English only. Okay. Now, the first auditor I must have appointed when I started the company. At the first AGM, I am appointing a subsequent auditor. What will be the tenure of the subsequent auditor? Till the 6th AGM. So for 5 years from first AGM, from the conclusion of first AGM till the 6th AGM, that means this is a period of 5 years for which the subsequent auditor is appointed. Next one. The quorum For a board meeting, what do you mean by quorum? Minimum number of people required to hold a meeting. Now we won't be holding a meeting if you don't have adequate quorum. So the quorum of a board meeting must be at least what of the total strength or how many directors, whichever is higher. Again, a question which is related to number. Again, a question which is related to number. The quorum should be at least 1/3 of the total strength, right? If I have total strength of 9, my quorum will be 1/3 of it. My quorum will be 1/3 of it. Or minimum 2 directors, whichever is higher. At least I need 2 directors to continue the meeting, right? At least I need 2 directors. How many directors can be appointed by the small shareholders? Obviously, you can appoint only 1 director, which will represent the interest of the small shareholders. Now, so many small shareholders are there in the company. So, what they can do is they can appoint their own director in the company, so that this director is representing their interest, right? If they have any query, if they have any issue, this small director is there to take care of any issue faced by the small shareholders. Next one. All the shares for which dividends have not been paid or claimed for how many consecutive years or more shall be transferred to the Investor Education and Protection Fund? Simple cheese. How many years? If you have not claimed your dividend, then your dividend will be transferred to the Investor Education and Protection Fund. A very simple question. A very straight, a very simple question. For 7 years, right? For 7 years. A board meeting shall be called by giving not less than how many days written notice to every director at the registered offer? I think this is a repeated question. The correct answer is 7 days, right? We have done it. 7 days is the correct answer. The tenure of the independent director is for how many consecutive years, after which a special resolution is required for the reappointment. Basically, this is the tenure of independent director. I am appointing an independent director for how many years? For 5 years. For 5 years, and after that I need to pass a special resolution to reappoint the same director, right? To reappoint the same director. That is the provision. Next one. When an application for transfer of partly paid up shares is made by the transferor alone, the transfer will not be registered unless the company notifies the transferee and the transferee gives no objection within how many days of receiving the notice. Now this is from the deep, I can say, area of the provision, right? ये एकदम deep provision से पूछ लिया गया है. What are partly paid up shares? Let's suppose the face value of the share is 10 rupee and I have only paid as of now 7 rupee. So 7 rupee is the paid up. This as of now is not paid up. So I can say this share is partly paid up. I have received only 7 rupee out of the 10. So this is a partly paid up share. Now if there is a transfer related to the partly paid up share, you need to take a no objection certificate from the transferee to whom you are transferring. Why? Because this 3 rupee the transferee needs to pay. Say for example, if I am transferring this share to Sandeep, then obviously Sandeep has to pay this 3 rupees. So I need a no objection certificate. As a company, I need a no objection certificate from Sandeep that you are fine to pay 3 rupees. This is a partly paid up share. Within how many days you need to take it? Within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks. Okay. Option B. Within 2 weeks you need to take it. The amount payable on application for every security. This is one of the most repeated question in different examination. I have seen this question. The amount payable on application. Let's suppose you are applying for a share. You are applying for a share. You need to pay a bare minimum amount of the nominal value of the face value of the par value, one of the same thing only. What percentage of nominal value you need to pay at the time of application? 1%, 4%, 3%, 5% or 2%? You need to pay at least a minimum of 5%. Please do remember this question, ये repeat हो सकता है. This can again come in your examination, okay? 5% is the bare minimum amount you need to pay at the time of application. If you are applying for some shares, then you need to pay at least 5% of the nominal value, right? Even for the application. The president of the tribunal and the chairperson and the judicial member of the appellate tribunal shall be appointed after consultation with whom? CGI, President, Vice President, Chief Justice of High Court or Prime Minister of India. देखो प्राइम मिनिस्टर और प्रेसिडेंट के पास इतना सारा काम ये तो नहीं है ना कि हर चीज के अंदर वो इन्वॉल्व रहेंगे, तो दो ऑप्शन तो यहाँ सीधे एलिमिनेट हो रहे हैं. You guys will be able to eliminate at least these two options, right? Vice President of India, obviously this cannot be the answer. So यहाँ पे तीन options तो already are you can eliminate. So I have only first option A, Chief Justice of India and Chief Justice of High Court as of now. The correct answer is Chief Justice of India, CGI. Okay, CGI is the correct choice. The audit committee of the company must consist of at least how many directors, with independent directors forming the majority. So if you are forming audit committee, how many directors need to be there? At least how many directors you need in the audit committee? Again, this question can come in the examination. This is from the 177 section number 177 of the Companies Act 2013, audit committee. And I advise you guys to please do remember the applicability as well of this particular section, audit committee related. One of the most important section from your company law part. The correct answer is 3. You need to have at least 3 directors to form an audit committee. Last question for today. Who is eligible to be appointed as an auditor of a company? So as per Companies Act 2013, if you are doing a statutory audit, then obviously you need to be a practicing chartered accountant. Only a practicing chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India can become an auditor of a company, right? So thank you so much for watching this lecture, guys. I hope we all are adding value to your preparation, right? This is our live crash course, which you can check out later on if you want to take some mentorship. Definitely this batch will enhance your preparation. Okay. So thank you so much. You can later on check out the course highlights as well of this particular batch. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. See you in some other lecture.